Well, I appreciate you guys coming back.
Yes, sir.
You know, this is something we had a tremendous, at least myself, and I want you guys to talk to this point as well, but a tremendous response of all of us getting in a room and chatting. You know, we didn't think it would be anything other than just kind of fun, but some of the stories that I've received, and I know that y'all have received, kind of make this want to become a thing.
I couldn't agree more. I'll let Chad talk about that or speak to that because he was by far, in my opinion, the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
But my God, it hit home with countless people. And so anyway, I'll let you touch on that.
No, I mean, to your point, I agree. I had a lot of people reach out. I know you did as well. I know Brad did as well. It was cool. You know, some people that I had no idea who they are or were, and sent some really cool messages, you know, just grabbing my number from somebody else. And I think that the way that we all spoke amongst each other, it just flowed very well and genuinely. And I thought it was fun too, you know, and it was just cool to sit and talk. And whenever we left there that day and all looked at each other like, man, why don't we just get together and do it again sometime soon? It's sometime soon.
Absolutely. You know, and from that's, you know, we're trying to come up with a name, trying to come up with a couple things.
My wife's on me about that. I need to come up with a name. We need to come up with a name. Like, what's the name?
I know.
Well, maybe let's let listeners help us out too. Even if it's just 5 listeners at the point, you know.
You're the creative one, man. You are. You know, you build homes. You build these beautiful homes. You can think of a name for sure.
Well, let me sing your praises, man, because just speaking of names, what was it? Not even 24 hours after we did that podcast, before we even got the overwhelming response, right? I think you had a Google spreadsheet of potential names. I mean, Jesus, buddy.
Yeah, no.
But no, I love it, man. I love the drive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you find something that works, you gotta stay after it.
Sure.
You know, and you know the best ideas I think die.
Yep,
you know, because there's no follow through, right? You know, so I'm excited for us 3 to continue to follow. But to Brad's point, we want you guys to help. We want suggestions from you. You know, this is something that I think that we're going to show some vulnerability on, but also placing each other and friends outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah, man.
You know, so I was even thinking this morning of like outside the box or outside the lines or something like that. Because one of the things that we're going to do that's kind of taken me out of my comfort zone, not necessarily y'all, but y'all got me committed to doing some shit in Vegas. I have never done anything like this. So y'all talk to this.
Well, you know what? What's so funny, and of course you're referring to High Rocks in Vegas, and it's all the rage now. I'll admit that. You know, I don't know if it's a friend or an enemy that invites you to Vegas to do an athletic competition. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Right.
I mean, because we're going to have temptation everywhere, but what better place to do it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to try to keep a strong mind, but I got to tell you, and I'll say this in front of anybody, afterwards, that celebration's going to be fun.
Oh, we're going to
we're going to blow off some steam.
We're going to eat like kings.
Well, we're going to drink like queens. I don't know. But
something.
Or kings, queens.
Happen.
I don't know what the word is. But no, anyway, I think it's just a good challenge for the 3 of us. I got to tell you, you know, Chad, we discussed this, I believe, did that one in Houston.
Yes.
Man, I saw that man from beginning to end. One, he was suffering, but in such a positive way. I saw kind of this, Jesus, is it a sadistic smile that it was just loving it, man. And I want whatever that is, you know, because I know he was hurting, but he was enjoying it. And to do it with you guys, man, this is going to be fun.
It'll be fun. Have you signed up?
I'm going to. I did have a question.
Name it.
So we're doing singles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. That was my only, and I figured I'd ask here in front of y'all and everything else. Did you sign up yet?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, you were first, right?
I was first.
All right.
I was first. I've got my little shoes in for it. I'm ready.
Yep.
Okay.
It's fun.
Give a shout out to the shoes. What shoes?
I got the Puma Deviate, Nitro Deviates.
Okay.
Deviates.
Yeah, they're suggested by or recommended by High Rocks.
Okay.
For the record, it's also sponsored by Puma.
Okay.
But I did run the competition in them last time, and they are good.
Are they?
So whether
Okay.
it's hype or not, maybe I fell into the hype. I don't know. but I have worn them since. I wore them during that competition.
Yeah.
Since that competition, and it's a good fast shoe.
Okay.
For running and stability.
Okay.
For me, not that I know much about it, but it works really well.
Awesome. Yeah, we were going to look at shoes yesterday, and I was like, well, I got to go back to Chad's, text and everything else. And Bristol was asking me about it, and I go, yeah. He said this shoe is good for 3 to 5 miles. This other shoe's good for past that. And my response was, you lost me at 3 to 5 miles.
Yeah, you know what though, man? Listen, you're going to be great, man.
You are, and you're being way too humble. I've seen you train.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm not going to let you do the all shucks thing. Meaning you train hard.
Oh.
And I know you make jokes about not running 3 to 5. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And so, but we're damn sure going to push ourselves, guys.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. No, it's going to be a great time, and I think a good time to, actually follow that journey.
Yes,
right?
sir.
I'd love to start doing some things even together, be it on the weekends, during the week, something like that, where we train together, stuff like that. Because some of that stuff I've never done purposefully.
Sure.
In watching all the events and stuff like that. So I'm stoked, outside my box, outside the lines.
Outside the lines.
I like that name, by the way. But something I know I'm always kind of quote unquote plugging these guys, but on it, of course.
Yes.
I believe every Sunday.
Okay.
Has a specific to High Rocks training class.
Nice.
Meaning an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of actual High Rocks event training.
Excellent.
And so maybe that becomes a routine.
Love it.
Every Sunday.
Love it.
And then we go to the well for the steak and eggs. Let's go.
Is Juan going to be there, though? I do not want to show up to one of Juan's sessions.
No. You're out on that.
No, I think that's his
I love
rest
him to death.
Yeah.
I love him to death. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I don't know him that well.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I'm like, man, I'm going to join a session with you, knowing I'm not going to join a session with you. I'm not going to.
He's making him feel good.
No, yeah. I'm just
point,
like,
right?
man, y'all get it. I just live far south. I just can't make it, Juan. I'm
it's
sorry.
Tough.
No.
Traffic, stuff like that.
But does he coach that class?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Okay. That's I'm just going to tell you though, man. All those coaches get after. It's just like collective coaches too. It's every single one of them just pushing us. But that might be a good routine.
Yeah.
And I don't want to derail us, but Sundays on it, High Rocks training, good late breakfast afterwards.
Let's do it.
And lick our wounds the rest of the evening.
I'll jump in. I mean, on a somewhat serious note, it is cool. Like once we join this or start this, just the commitment of it,
damn right,
meeting up together, the journey going towards it, just improving, of course, but just taking that time to actually dedicate ourselves to doing something healthy. And all joking aside, going to Vegas and doing something healthy is something that I personally have never done. I doubt any of you guys have done.
So it's a first.
There we go.
But it is cool just to commit to something.
Yeah.
Let's get it done, and then afterwards we can come on and talk about it.
100%.
I love that.
It's a fun race.
Yeah.
It is a fun race. I will say that.
Love it. So it'll be fun, man.
We'll just eat well that night.
I like that.
100%.
Absolutely. We're going to do that anyway, man.
Of course.
But then we can blame it on we earned it, right?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah,
absolutely
of course.
Right. I know Bristol's going to call Dylan too and go, all right, we're going to do girl things. We'll let them do them.
There you go.
We'll go to the event, but we're going to go do girl things.
Let them.
She does this thing. She loves going, and there's a place, one of the hotels, you're going to get me lying to you now. It used to be the Mandarin and is now... Starts with the W. They just bought it a couple years ago. Anyway, they do high tea at noon and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
so
man.
Bristol goes and wears those little hats.
Oh,
and
now we're
everything.
getting all fancy.
She thinks it's the coolest thing in the world. They have those little sandwiches that give you just enough to make you mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a little, like 2 bites, and you're like, for real, that's it?
Dylan would like that.
Yeah.
Dylan, I mean, I'm not kidding. She is as fit as anyone I've ever seen, and eats like little scraps. I don't know how. And she trains harder than all of us put together. I can attest to that. And then I'm sure Bristol too, right?
Yeah, she's getting in it. Pilates every Monday right now, so she's getting into it, leaning back into it hard and heavy.
Well, how they consider that to be good fuel, so to speak, maybe it's just not. Maybe it's just high tea.
Yeah.
Let them enjoy their high tea.
Yep.
I'm going to shut the hell up.
Tea and crumpets.
What have we become, fellas?
I know.
What have we become? We're getting fancy.
I know. I just want a side of beef.
Vegas has a lot of good restaurants.
They do.
They really do.
We need to narrow that down. We'll narrow that down. Come up with, start making reservations and everything.
We got you. It'll be fun, man.
Love it.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Love it.
So, but it will be fun to document the journey, of course, and then, like Chad said, not to get too, deep or whatever, but per the last podcast, talking about being vulnerable and having to check certain boxes, right?
Yes.
For all of us, I think we all do.
Yeah.
I mean, every Sunday that might be a box that we need to check.
Yeah.
Feel good about waking up on Monday and doing it all over. Let's go, man. Let's do this.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, even going back to some of the comments that we've gotten, again, a lot of these were, can't believe you guys opened up.
Yeah.
It was mainly you, and I think going forward, what we'd like to do outside of this one is go into a little bit more in depth with each one of us.
Sure.
Go into backstories, life, things like that. So, everybody else can get to know us a little bit better.
Sure.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
There's stories that we all have and that we've, haven't told and will tell, and that's what makes us who we were or are, as an individual today. So that's something that I'm looking forward to.
Man, me too. Correct me if I'm wrong. The plan, I hope, if this thing takes off, right, that have guests in here too, right?
Absolutely.
And then kind of challenge these guys to, become vulnerable.
Yes.
I'm going to say this, man, and I want to say this very publicly, just a huge thank you to anybody that reached out to any of us and saying, hey, you really hit a chord. Because, going into this, I know we all feel the same way. I didn't care if we had 5 listeners or 500,000 listeners, right? It's just telling the truth, saying who we are as human beings. And for whatever reason, it sure resonated. So to anybody that's listening right now that took the time to reach out and say, hey, man, that really meant a lot to me, well, you're damn sure welcome. And I'm carrying some of those messages still today.
Wow.
I mean that.
Yeah.
About, hey, we're all human, man, and we're all very much alike. And so, anyway, thank you to anybody that's listening that reached out, and even those that might have wanted to and didn't. Thank you for even thinking it.
Yeah. And and that wasn't our intent. We just thought we were going to get in here.
Yeah.
And just talk.
Exactly.
And again, it's extremely comfortable for us. So, hopefully it's comfortable for other individuals to have a group of friends that they can do that with. To your point, we want others to come in and share their story as well.
Yeah.
And, put themselves in one of those positions where they typically wouldn't. We've already got some people that we're thinking about that we think would be great hosts or great guests.
Yes, yeah, sure.
And put them in those positions.
I'd love it.
Outside the box and, try to figure out what makes them tick as individuals and get people to understand and learn about them as well.
Damn right, man.
Absolutely. So one of the other things, so we've got this race, this competition, this deal in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give too much away, but we've got some other things that, I think that we still need to throw in the pot. And that's something that we want to ask you guys as well, is what are some things that you think would be outside of the box or something that would be challenging for us to do as individuals and as a group that we can document that journey along the way. I've got one, and I'm not giving it up yet. And I've already talked to these boys about it, and it's going to put everybody out of their comfort zone. However, it's something that we're going to look at doing that I think is going to be pretty damn fun.
I'm going to say that, and I know you're not going to say what it is, but I'm going to be hard pressed to do this one. Meaning, just I know, I know, and that's the response that I expected.
Yeah.
And oh, buddy,
if you got the support, you got to do it. Being outside of that comfort zone. Man.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I know we all talk a big game, right?
Yeah.
You in? You know what he's talking about.
I know exactly what he's talking about. We talked about we met up at a happy hour on Thursday, I think it was, or whatever night it was. That was cool, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, we purposely skipped you over, but
I'm actually kind of offended right now.
No, we did mention that. Again, I won't say it right now, but I looked you in your eye and said, okay, I'll do it, and I will. I'm petrified, and it'll be funny, but let's go. I'll do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah.
So again, we want suggestions from you guys. Things that are not typical. Again, this race for me is not typical. It's typical for y'all. These are some things that I've done that y'all haven't done. But we definitely want to do things like, we're going to go shooting. We're going to go hunting.
Sure.
We're going to do some things that are just fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, things that we're definite masculine guys, and that's something that we want to continue to breed, teach, throw out there, that there's There's no such thing as toxic masculinity.
Agreed.
You know, there's masculinity. Unfortunately, there's been, you know, that's been tainted. You know, we've talked about before how out in the wild, stuff works in the wild. There's a reason that things work in nature, you know, and there's a reason why things work in households and life and stuff like that. And those are things that I love to actually express. You know, at the end of the day, in raising 3 boys, I'm raising men.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm raising guys that if you have a flat tire, this is how you fix it. You know, there was once a while back that I pulled up and this girl was changing a tire while the guy was watching her. And I just, that pissed me off.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And at the end of the day, we live in a world of convenience. You know, you may not change your oil. I don't. I know how to do it, though. You know, and those are things that not everybody knows, but are things that are important to be passed down, you know?
Of course, yeah.
Because you've got to be self-reliant.
Right.
And those are things that I think are extremely important.
Agreed.
At least to me, you know, and especially in the field of raising men.
Yeah. Agreed.
And as old guys, we come from, you know, a different generation, and that was more prominent.
Well, sure.
And unfortunately, it's been lost, you know, over the years.
Well, I think a lot of things have, and you know, and you know, we don't have to dig too deep into that, but meaning, I think certain values have been lost. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with being masculine, of course. I do think there's an equal place for a strong woman, of course.
100%.
Hell, I know countless women that are much more independent than I am. But I do agree with what you said, just raising young men to be just that, men, you know, and I do think we have a duty, so to speak, of being protectors, providers. And Frank, I don't want to piss any women off because again, I just mentioned so many independent women are out there and providing much more than I ever could, I'm sure, you know, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to try. And so anyway, I do think that's a lost value, and hopefully it comes back. You know, I don't know. I don't know.
100%. Even chivalry.
Yeah, well,
you know, opening doors,
of course.
things like that. You know, little things that seem to be lost.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that, even with a strong woman. I couldn't do what I do without Bristol.
I know that.
You know, and that's a yin and yang thing, right?
Yep.
She knows how to handle me, how to wrangle me in, and you know, I didn't have success prior to. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Just because of that, just being hot-headed and this, that, and the other, and she knows how to deal with me.
And you and Dylan too, huh?
100%.
Yeah, man.
It's funny. We just went out. We stayed in town, but you know, had a date downtown, whatever.
Oh, again, thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I'm definitely not invited to that. But it was cool, man. You know, it's funny because we sat there and talked about it wasn't our anniversary. We just had a chance to do it, and you know, I'm sitting here. I'm talking to. I'm going to call him out because I love this guy to death.
Yeah.
And I hope he's listening. When I first got married, a guy that I really look up to, Michael Gerard, very successful entrepreneur. First thing he asked me, he goes, "Did you get a prenup?" And I laughed, and I didn't know what to say, to be honest. I was like, no, but what he didn't know is I had debt in a Ford F-150 and nothing else. It's like, if anything,
nothing much has changed. No, I'm kidding.
And Dylan and I laugh about that now, but my point is, talking about what I have now, you know, this is a woman that we shared a one-bedroom apartment on Congress Avenue back when Starbucks was on there, and now we went over this timeline. It's like, we went from this, and we paid off this, and, you know, and it's just cool, man. It really is cool to sit back and say, like, man, what you said about Bristol and everything else, it's cool to realize, like, yeah, we've built it together. You know what I mean? I mean, I would have been, I don't know, just wild, or I have a little bit of common sense when it comes to money, a little bit, but not much. But thank God that she was there. You know what I'm saying? And I hope we're passing that on to our daughter as well, you know, just to, I don't know. She's got a lot of her dad in her, and she's got a lot of her mom in her, and both are pretty successful people in their own right. But it's cool. It's cool to sit back and go over our timeline, you know?
Yeah.
Also, to your point, though, and this is just from the outside looking in, right? Obviously, I'm not married, but from what I've observed from both of your wives is they are, we just established, extremely strong, independent, very successful in their own right. Mm-hmm. But I believe they allow, from what I see, allow you guys to take that masculine role. Right, and I think there's something very special in that. You know, there's no ego involved. No. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
And it's obviously served you guys so well. I mean, hell, Dylan's been in my corner at times. You know what I mean? And just lifted me up as a sister-in-law. Mm-hmm. And it's something that frankly I cherish. As you just allow me to, of course, be a man, but also, you know, kind of give me pointers on how to do things better, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely. And can do it in a way that's non-threatening.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the biggest thing is, unfortunately, even just as individuals, sometimes we react in ways, and it may not come out the way we intend to, but it comes out in a way, me most of the time.
Oh, me too, buddy.
Yeah, you know, and then after you say it, you're like, well, that's already out there. I can't pull it back.
Isn't that the worst? I don't want to derail that. Isn't that the worst?
Oh.
When you say it, and you know, I mean, there's a lot of emotion behind it.
Yeah.
And as soon as it leaves your mouth, you just, oh,
You're
man.
just kind of sit there and wait for what's coming. You're like, God.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you just know it, and you know.
Have it.
I know. Yeah.
I know.
That's just the worst.
But, you know, to have someone that can look past some of those things and help you understand a better way to do something.
There you go.
You know, it was
a good woman.
It's never the problem, it's always the solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I realized that after being married with Bristol, right? You know, and that's because she would not have it any other way.
Yeah.
Again, it's something we don't fight because she will not fight. If it's something, if I'm in a bad mood or something like that, she just goes, you go do you for a little while. I'll come back to you in a half an hour or so. And she will. You know, but she's an odd bird. I've looked for the farm that she was produced on and everything. There's not many
Send one
of
those
them.
birds Brad's way.
I know. I need
somebody
to.
Yeah, you find that farm, man.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly becoming a farmer.
Yes. We're taking applications too. So, y'all, you know, if you're on that farm.
Man,
you know?
I know. And I made the same comment, but I wish she had a sister, you know. And so, but you guys both have great women, and that saying that, you know, behind every man is a strong woman or a good man, whatever. Yeah. I'm going to mess it up. But I do believe there's truth in that, you know, and so good for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sons of bitches.
And yours is out there. Yours is out there,
We'll
man.
see.
Yours is out there.
We'll see.
You know?
It's
tough.
I don't know, man. I think I'm single forever.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, man.
Who knows, man?
know.
I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see.
We need to. I'm gonna bring this up. So tonight, you know, I like Mediterranean food, and again, I'm trying to get, and I got a hold of the chef too, and I'm gonna get that whole thing going as well, because I just need to lean out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, and I know it's diet. I know it is.
Sure.
My fat ass likes. I like an occasional sweet.
Well,
every
you're
once in a while,
human.
you know,
You're a human being, buddy.
You know, so but I'm gonna do this to be around, because every time I go to, and I'm gonna start doing something as well.
Okay.
I almost did it this weekend. We had some pastries from a Mexican restaurant we went to.
Yep.
And I was going to take a picture of it and go, would Brad eat this? You know? But it was funny. Chad and I went to lunch one day, and I was like, what about this, or this? He goes, Brad's not here. Let's do it. You know? Yeah, it was like the chips at Laura.
Was it margarita or just?
I know. No, it was chips and sauce at Laura.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You know,
Okay.
so.
Right.
But definitely getting on that bandwagon.
Sure.
So I appreciate that as well. So
Yeah.
I need to start eating better. I need to start, you know, and I'm gonna start hitting you up for more of that stuff too.
I'll help you any way I can, man.
Okay.
You know, and we discussed briefly this whole social media thing and the foray into it, so to speak. That's another thing. You know, I posted one thing about Rudy Gutierrez, my Chef G. I love you, buddy. I got no less than 30, maybe 40 people reaching out and say, local guys, of course, said, hey, man, is that guy local? I want to sign up. And I don't know how many actually followed through.
Yeah.
But You know, it's not hard, meaning I'm not doing anything special. I'm just eating what this man provides.
Yep.
I do take diet very seriously, of course. And so, but anyway, good on you. I'll help you any way I can.
No, absolutely.
So,
And just because I have a little bit of ADD, now I can go back to the original thought during that whole thing.
Sure. Yeah.
When I said I'm going to bring this up.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to go eat Mediterranean food, and I love Mediterranean food.
Sure.
And, you know, Bristol likes this place, Ho Ho Chinese barbecue up north. You know, it's got the ducks hanging from the ceiling. And everything. So that's her favorite thing in the world. And I just hate driving all the way up north, but sometimes I just got to bite the bullet and drive up there to go ahead and do it to please her.
I was about to say, her you do.
Yep. So mine's Mediterranean food. So she said, well, if we go do this tonight, tomorrow we'll go out for Mediterranean food.
Okay.
And she goes, but we got to be back in time because the season finale of The Bachelorette is on.
Come on, man. Come on.
So I was like, for real?
Come on.
Yes. So
you know what's so funny? I'm so out of that world right now. I mean, so far out of it. And what is cool is, again, Instagram or whatever, but I've had some past participants and some of the producers and some really good friends of mine reaching out. And it's so good to connect with those guys, you know? And so... but I am not canceling dinner plans for the finale, and but I hope I think her name is Claire, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Bachelorette. Who knows?
Do you not watch it? No?
I don't. Every once in a while, I'll take a little peek at something or something like that, and then outside of that, you know, the only one that I'll watch is yours. You know what I mean?
Oh, you
I'll
don't
go
want to
back
see
and watch
that. Especially it's so old. You know, it's not even 720p. I mean, you know, it's just filmed on one of those handheld Sonys. That you know what I mean? The reels. Look, I'm really not making this up. I just recently had to film something that it was a really, really fun thing to do, but it was my instant reaction to old footage. And so these guys on an iPad had short clips of, you know, some scenario or
stuff like cooking eggs in a towel only.
Hey, that was on there, man.
Was it?
Yes. And it was, buddy.
Let's
get that out there again.
Yeah,
Brad on national TV cooked eggs in a towel only. I'm sorry.
And I'm sure I'm beat red right now. Yeah. Some of those things I guess I forgot about because I was traumatized from being so cheesy and cringeworthy. But that was one of them. And so, yes, I know. But anyway, what I'm getting at is all of that footage.
We need to get a T-shirt with that on there. You know what I mean?
No, you do not. No, you do not. I can't, but I don't know what I was thinking, man.
Next time, instead of all like monotone T-shirts, we'll just wear towels and cook eggs. Can we do that? Next time we film a show, Brad, can we do that?
Sure, why not?
We'll
Let's go.
Chris Harrison sitting over here and
that would be so good.
The entire thing.
Brad,
I'll get to my point.
Ready.
But every bit of that footage was blurry. Meaning at the time it was high def, quote unquote. Yeah. But what we're used to now, and you talk about feeling like a dinosaur, man. I mean, it's like watching old 70s footage, you know. God. So it was really bad, really grainy, and extraordinarily cheesy. But
did you ever get into that show? I mean, it was a cool show.
No,
I thought.
absolutely.
I really did. I don't
on.
watch it now. I'm not just saying that, but especially at the time, I thought it was huge. Even before Brad was on there, I thought it was cool that he was on there, of course. But what a run, man!
No,
what a successful
100%.
run.
Well, even the start of like reality TV.
Oh,
like
sure.
The Real World.
The Real World. I remember well. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think they said that's what saved MTV.
I believe that.
Was that
sure?
Because music videos were just going down.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what saved them.
Yeah.
And that was super cool. You know, and then you have people like Theo Von come out of that.
Sure.
Just some really cool individuals that we loved that.
Yeah.
Watch that all the time. Because that was really kind of and I don't mean to age you at all.
Oh, look, we've put it out there, buddy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the start of something really kind of cool.
Well, sure.
Real life scenarios and things like that. Now we know that they kind of prod you a little bit here and there to do things, and but it was phenomenal.
Speaking of that, and I know you remember this, but whenever they were filming the Real World Austin, they would come in the bars all the time, and one of our general managers actually started dating one of the girls, and so they were in there. When I say 7 nights a week, it was 7 nights a week.
Wow.
And camera crews and all of that, and I vividly remember this. That was before my run on The Bachelor or whatever, and the producers became friends with them, and I said, this is crazy. Word started getting out, and of course business was booming all on 6th Street, just hoping to catch those guys. And I remember saying to the producer, I said, man, this is insane, man. We're getting exponentially busier just from you guys being here. Said, you just wait until after it airs. Just wait. And I didn't, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Man, when that thing aired, 6th Street, all the bars that had any kind of, airing time were insanely packed from tourists just simply wanting to see where it all happened.
Yeah.
And we were doing nothing different. It was just, and it was hell, you had national advertising on MTV.
Yeah.
And so it was just, and he was right, it was just insanely busy. Not just for us, but for everybody. Any of the bars that they hit,
Makes total sense.
Yeah, man. Just exposure, the power of exposure, man. Yeah. It's insane.
I worked with a guy at Lucky Lounge that I think was a GM, a fellow named Troy.
Oh, yeah, of the Blind Pig, Troy.
Yes.
Great
I can't remember
dude.
his last name.
Oh,
Blonde
my God.
hair, big dude.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
great
Troy.
kid.
Ben, Troy, and Nick. Oh, my God. And
Troy Kramer?
Is that his last name?
He had blonde hair.
No, Troy didn't have blonde hair.
No, Troy was
Bill.
actually bald.
Yeah.
Our buddy shaved his head.
He may have.
Yeah.
But he was a stacked dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
I want to say he worked at Blind Pig.
Yeah.
But he worked at Lucky Lounge at the same time.
Okay.
I don't think he ever worked. I don't think.
Yeah, who knows?
No.
Like the Troy that we know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
And Troy, if you're listening, I'm sorry I forgot your last name. I remember his bad. We already established we're old. So
it's I can't,
But,
and that's why working in a country bar was nice because everybody was, hey buddy, how you doing, man? You know what I mean?
Well, that's my line anyway.
Yeah, you don't have to remember names, and then sweetheart for girls and stuff like that. You can get away with that, all day long.
Sure.
So I'm horrible at that.
Yeah.
I'm horrible. Faces, yes. Names, no.
Yeah,
I ain't got enough room in the filing cabinet. A little too.
Well, good old days.
What Mediterranean place do you go to? Did you ever say that? I'm curious.
No, there's actually a new one by the house in the Allendale area. I can't remember the name. We're going to try to get into there. Otherwise, I just go to DeMontzi's.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Just so I can gorge myself with chicken and
there you go.
all sorts of stuff. Is there a good one outside of that?
I don't know. That's why I was asking. I truly don't know.
Abba, of course.
Abba.
Yeah.
Oh, Abba, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dylan loves that place.
yeah.
Actually.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I know, it's phenomenal.
You and Bristol go there?
Yeah.
To Abba, yeah.
What she does is, I guess reservations open like 2 months in advance.
Yeah.
So once a week, she goes on and schedules something 2 months out, and she always books it for 4. And a lot of times, if we're in town or if we're not, she'll just text a friend or something. Hey, I got reservations for 4 at Abba. Who wants them?
Nice.
And she'll give them up. But she always does that whenever
That's funny.
just to stay
Smart.
ahead of it, because you can't typically get in there
Oh.
with more than. I mean, if you can go in there by yourself or something like that, you can get at the bar. But other than that, you just can't get in there.
Man, I've tried so many times to make reservations, even a week in advance.
Yeah.
No luck.
No.
The only time I've eaten there at night was one time it was on a date, and she knew whoever the maitre d', GM,
Yeah.
whoever.
She from The Bachelor?
And no, she was not.
no.
But
Okay.
but she got us in, and I anyway, she didn't like me. It didn't work out.
You
But
want to
anyway,
text
it
her
was still a
and see
good
what
meal.
she's doing right now? Like, who is this girl, Brad?
Yeah.
It's-
Where are you in life now? Just one of those.
She's doing much better than I am.
Oh,
but no, didn't quite work out. But I did
No.
like the food. So,
the food's good. We'll have to go back there. Maybe the memory will be washed away at that point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, yeah, man. So it'll be fun to try to figure out who we can get in here and stuff like that. And hopefully this thing gains some steam. I don't know.
100%. No, and I just love the aspect of being able to do things outside of this, right? And document those things.
Of course.
Because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with being a cheerleader for your boys, standing up for your boys, and acting as support for those as well.
course.
And that's the thing that I dig and that I really am getting out of this is deep friendships.
Yeah, me too,
and
man.
that's what matters most. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I do appreciate you setting it up. Whenever you put this together originally, and it was, that first episode, and I hope everybody knows this. Nothing was planned. We didn't know anything. We just came in.
Right.
Sure, we bounced around a couple of things that we might talk about, and I think the three of us, I think you guys would agree. We left, and I know I told my wife right away. I actually texted you guys right away how naturally that flowed, and I think it was mentioned on the first one. I think all of us exchanged pleasantries, but all of us have a certain amount of respect for the other one. And I think that just talking and letting the others talk, and then it all flowed. It went really well. And again, I think that's me saying thank you for even putting it together, because this is all your brainchild, and you even having us back again and talking about Brad cooking eggs in a towel is exactly why we wanted to do it. And so it's cool, man. It really is.
No, I appreciate you guys coming. And again, the fact that it is so natural, is crazy. And it was funny. What was it? 30 minutes before, you had texted maybe a little bit prior to, going, "Hey, we still good for today?" And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's just talk about the responses that we've gotten thus far. And this is just how easy it's coming.
I'll tell you, man, one thing I'm really, really looking forward to as far as having guests in here, and I know you guys are the same way. I get fascinated by people's stories. And, at one time, I want to call you out in a good way. At one time, I think I told you this, but Chad, years ago, had discussed possibly doing a podcast, right? And it was going to be called "Tell Me Your Story." And I don't want to,
no, please,
air out
talk about
your thoughts. But what I loved about it, his approach was, it didn't have to be some highly visible celebrity or anything like that. I mean, he was as interested in let's call it I'm going to steal one of your ideas, which I love. The person that has lived on the east side of Austin for all of their lives and might see their neighbors getting maybe run out or see, kind of almost gentrified is the perfect word for it, and how does that feel? Tell us about your thoughts. How are you holding on? Do you like to see the change? And because that's real life. Yes. That is real life. And unfortunately, real life really doesn't get its voice a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff is all propaganda, frankly. But anyway, so just sitting down, or the local coffee barista that moved to Austin chasing a dream. Where are you? Are you finding that dream here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, of course, getting some high-powered people, too. And, because in my opinion, those people are just as powerful, quote unquote, as some of the CEOs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was more of a, hey, let's really hear your story. What makes you you? Because I find everyday people, freaking fascinating, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
No.
And especially when people are comfortable enough to open up. And so that's a long-winded way of saying I'm really excited to get some people sitting in that chair. And then I know your idea, and I'm not going to, say the questions.
Yeah.
But we're going to unload 3 very tough questions we're going to ask every single time, and I love that.
Yeah.
And they're going to be pretty deep.
And they're going to understand it from the get, I mean, but it's going to be something that we're going to go beyond the superficial, the niceties, things like that, and get to the core of why people do what they do and how they are, who they are, and how they got there, and what they learned, and if there's anything that they would do different or what they want others to know on that path that they took.
And what you just said, and we keep talking about the responses from our first podcast, all this surface level stuff looks really glamorous, right? And for Chad to come out and openly admit he had been to rehab, that's the one I got so many messages saying, please tell your brother thank you. I've been in rehab. I've carried shame. No more. No more. It's part of my story. You know how powerful that is, man? So huge. Just to let someone speak to their own truth and who they are. Anyway, let's do this, man.
Well, and that's the thing, again, I've said it 100 times, but, what you were is what brought you to what you are today.
You're damn right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You learn from that.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, the only way you learn from it is to do it. Because you can be told, I know when I was young, I was told, don't do this, or this would be the consequence. 9 times out of 10, I still did the shit anyway, right?
We've heard.
Never learn until you do it yourself. So thank you for doing that. And you were the one that kind of started this.
No. I asked you, I said I'd be open to talk about it. I think it is important. And, I think it's also worth saying, because I told my wife this, is, I'm not aiming to be the mental health advocate. I'm not aiming to be the rehab advocate. Like I said, I've drank since then. I drank this past weekend. I'm open about all of this. I have nothing to hide, man. People are going to think about me what people are going to think about me. I'm not interested in changing anybody's opinion at all. It's just me. And I will say I am about to start a path of sobriety just for so many other reasons and just for other reasons. Maybe that's another episode. I am glad we talked about it. I'm glad that I did get some very powerful messages from people that, like I said, some that I knew, some that I didn't, because as we've all talked about, things got dark. I got I'm not going to get...
Go ahead, bring it, brother.
It's all right, man. Yeah.
No, I just got a good message from my daughter.
I love that, man. I'll jump in because I know he's going to get emotional.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
It just
Anyway.
Yeah.
Those are the people that you hope that you touch the most.
Yeah.
That's legacy.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
You
At
know,
the end of the
damn
day.
right.
At the end of the day, those that are
sorry.
closest to you.
There's
No.
absolutely. You kidding me, man?
Yeah.
there's two people that'll get me emotional. It's my
Yeah.
wife and daughter. And
Yeah.
so it
Well,
that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And it said a lot. And it's the one person on this earth that I have to impress. And you know, so it was good, and it really said that it really proved that I was glad what I said. And, again, that's all that matters. I'm sorry.
No.
It's hard for me to even talk about Skylar without getting emotional.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with emotion, man. We all made a promise ourselves, right, that we're going to keep this authentic.
Yes.
And so,
I'm just in the editing room, like later, like
Right.
you just see me sneaking in there.
That's when Brad and the towel's going to come out.
man, Jesus, man, I don't, yeah, okay, I don't know.
I didn't mean for that to happen, but
No.
To end on a positive note, I am glad that it got pretty real, and I meant everything I said. It as I'm sure you guys can tell, I have nothing to hide. I
damn
back
right.
it up. You know, stuff has gotten really dark and stuff has been really light, and so it was good to talk about it. I'm glad, and again, if it helps somebody, it helps somebody, and I'm glad.
It would. It damn sure helped me, you know, and what's so cool about those conversations, both of you guys, I mean, not a newfound respect, but learning so much about each of you. That's why I'm really interested in taking, like you said, the deep dive over the next few episodes into you guys individually.
Yeah.
I have some pretty good questions I want to ask that I've been thinking of, even for my twin brother, which is weird, you know, someone that you think, well, I know him better than anybody.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that I'm just curious about, and
the irony I almost brought up taking Tim Kennedy's sheepdog response course. Is that what it's called?
Yep. Yeah.
And after me getting choked up, he just busts through the room and like an American flag speedo. He just jerks me up. He just jerks me up by my neck.
Yeah.
Jamming Metallica. He's
Yes.
like, we're going to take this course right
Yes.
now. But I do want to take that course.
We're gonna.
Yeah, it could go. This could go all different ways.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
that would be amazing, by the way. I think the world of that dude. And I mean, for many, many, many reasons.
Yeah.
And of Tim. And that would be a really, really good
We need to do that.
adventure. Let's do it.
I told you I did it. It was one of the very first that he did. It was in Oklahoma, and then my wife bought it for me for it was either for Christmas or birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
I drove up there, and then I think when I had gotten there, it was announced, "Oh yeah, we're doing Austin now." And I was like,
Yeah.
I had driven all the way up to Oklahoma and everything else.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it was phenomenal. But it kicked my ass.
Yeah.
And I loved it, though. I loved it.
Man, you know, and that's the thing, man. That it's so rewarding to do something that you're so fearful of, and whether you fail or whether you succeed, you tried, you know.
100%.
And there's another operation. It's either Coast or Coastal Tactical, and I want to bring this up to you guys because that's also on the radar. It's a guy. His name is Scott Jones.
Okay.
And he was an old Kokoro coach, if that tells you anything. And he's been reaching out to me. He has some beautiful excursions up in Montana. I think he does some in Florida. And it's all, you know, you eat really well, but it's the real deal, man. And that's another one. We'll talk off air about it. But I do want to put that on our radar, too.
Yeah.
Only because, frankly, I know you're going to get a lot of what you want out of it if you want something really hard that's life-changing.
Yeah.
He's one of those dudes that he walks the walk, man. And it'd be fun. It'd be fun to do
like
that.
some deep sea fishing also, like something
Yeah.
that doesn't take a lot of like, we don't have to plan shit. We don't
have to almost die every
we just
time.
have to show up, make sure the beer's cold, and just something.
I'm smelling a Cabo trip.
I know, that's what I was getting ready to say, Cabo. You know what I mean?
I mean, we kind of have to.
We have to.
We
I think
have to. We haven't been there in a while. I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
We kind of
Yeah.
have to see what it's like down there this time of year.
Yeah.
So it's always the same, I'm sure.
Do some good fishing down
That'd be fun, man. That'd be a lot of fun and document it a little bit.
Yes. That would be phenomenal.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm down.
Yeah.
So again, guys, we're looking for different ideas as well to get us outside the box. It can be just about anything. And when you hear some of the shit that we're coming up with, it's not all, grunt style shooting, rolling, sweating your ass. It's going to be, it'll be a little sweaty.
Yeah.
Just out of sheer, you don't know what to expect type of deal. But those are things that we want. We want to be outside of our comfort zone. We want, to encourage you to get outside of your comfort zone as well.
Sure.
Business-wise, personally, relationship-wise.
There you go.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So again, we're looking for a name for this podcast as well. We're going to continue to do these at least twice a month, I think.
Cool.
And we'll just start piling them up. We'll keep them on mind until we come up with that name. So please give us names. We'd love to have maybe in the next 30 days of this to branch off to its own thing. Start really culminating what this true plan is going to be. Because again, it's comfortable.
Yes, it is.
It's nice.
Yeah.
We want to continue this and hope everybody can get something out of this as well.
Yeah. And, can I throw that out there or this out there too? If whoever's listening, if you want to be a guest, reach out to us, man. I mean, I'm going to say this so I'm blue in the face. We're not looking to gain 500,000 followers or whatever, We're just putting out hopefully good quality, positive content.
Yes.
And so tell us your story, damn it. Come on.
Yeah.
And man, we all have some friends and colleagues that are fascinating individuals. Mm-hmm. So if you want to come and spill the tea, let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we want to learn about you.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for coming again. And again, this is going to be a regular.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the adventures. I'm looking forward to being stressed and being put in situations I'm not normally in.
Absolutely.
And learn more about individuals and others out there as well.
Let's do it, man.
So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.